Now that we've created our logo, let's start dropping our logo into things. So I'm going to go to Create New, and I'm going to go to Print, and I'm going to View All Presets. And one of the presets is US Business Card. And I'm going to call this DN Biz Card. If I go to inches, I'll see it's 3.5 by 2. So we can make these cards wide, but we can also make them vertical. I'm going to make a wide one for starters, and then I will decide what I'm going to do from there. I'm going to switch back to picas because down here on the margins, so if we have a very small document, we generally need small margins, and if we need a larger document, we need larger margins. The default margins here are set for an 8.5 by 11 page, so they're really, really huge. And business cards are really, really small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the margin for 1 pica. And then I want to go down to the bleed. And again, I'm going to make that P9 or 0.125 IN. And I hit preview. And it looks like that, which looks about right. And I'm going to hit create. And here is my business card. However, this is not really what the business card looks like. If I design it at this size, here, let me get rid of that, swatches, that. If I design it at this size, it's going to be wrong because, in fact, if I hit Command 1, it takes it to actual size, and this is how big a real business card is. In actuality, yeah, that actually, at least on my screen, I was just checking it against a regular business card. On my screen, that actually is 100% of actual size. So you can see that that's pretty tiny. And generally, business cards have a lot of information on them. So what I'm going to start off doing, File, Place, and I'm going to go to my logo. And for these purposes, I'm going to use the InDesign file, click Open, drag it like that. I'm going to take, since I didn't make it, I made the document 5 inches, but the logo isn't really 5 inches big. I'm going to pull the crop marks in a little bit because I don't need to have that much extra white space around it. I'm going to move it into the corner like that. So, and in fact, I'll move it over just a hair so that it works with the margins. I click Preview, it looks like that. I'm actually going to make this a little bit smaller, holding Command and Shift and dragging. It's a little smaller. Okay. And then I'm going to drag a text box. Go back to my normal so I can see whether I'm fitting into the text box or fitting into the margins. For the moment, I'm going to just stretch this all out like this. And what? Okay, and that would be most of the information that I'd want to have on here. For that matter, I could just leave it at that. However, all the information is the same. So there's no real hierarchy here other than that this is the first line. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I've got a basically sans serif logo with the exception of that little V in the nose. So I'm going to actually take this and go to Avenir. Medium. And I want to make this bigger. So we need to work out our hierarchy. We need to work out what's most important about this. And I'm zooming in just so that you can see it better. So my name is going to be important. So I'm going to make that heavy. Heavy isn't very heavy here. How about black? How about I use a different font because this doesn't seem to be working correctly. Avenir T1. So we're going to take all of this and make it Avenir T1. Okay, sometimes fonts don't work correctly. This seems to be one of those cases. Heavy. I'm going to go to black on this. Avenir is kind of a strange font. There are lots of different weights, and most of them are the same or very close to the same. I don't think that that particular part of the font has been structured well, but it's a really nice geometric font. You know, the O's are absolutely round. Graphic design instructor is maybe not so important. I'm going to take that and make that just a little bigger. I'm going to take that, and I want it to be different sort of information than my name. So I'm going to go make it oblique, and I'm going to make it like that. And I'm actually going to take this type and make it, instead of 12 point, I'm going to make it 10 point. And then we have information. I'm going to take that information, all of this information, and change it to optical. And I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to pick this line of text. So this is, again, different kinds of information. Here's an address, here's a phone number, here's an email, here's a web address. I'm going to take this line here. And there's a number of ways I can do it. I can take this line and change the leading, and I can take that line and change the leading. Or I could just take this line and actually go up here to my paragraph controls, and I can make that P9 and P9 like that. And there's a business card, and I've got some hierarchy going on, and then maybe I want people to call, or maybe I want people to email. If I want people to mostly email me, I could take this, and I can make this also black, like that. Or I could decide that in fact I want this to say graphic design, instruction. And at this point, I'm going to track it in. But if I do that, I'm going to probably make that and have that be Dean Nettles, or Professor Nettles. Oh, make it, if I'm going to arrange it that way. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, instead of that, and then I'm probably going to want to make this bold, black. Okay, so that's an arrangement for the card. I can also go, let's see, to Pages, File, Document Setup. Unfortunately, I set it to be facing pages, and I don't want that, so I'm going to turn that off. Click OK. Single page. Then I can take that page and I can duplicate it. Duplicate spread. And now I'm going to try this a little differently. I'm going to move this logo to the center. Move this down. Move this across. Here's that. Center the text. No, center the text like that. Then we need to, and I forgot my period up here. Or option 8 gives me a bullet. Wouldn't want that bullet to be okay. I'm going to make that all black. And probably what I would do here is take this, in this case, I can add space above, like that. Notice that I didn't include the web address, but maybe I want to include the web address. So how do I do that? And why don't I add a little more space in here? Flooding. Notice, so it's supposed to be 10 on 12. 12. Okay. perfectly centered, but now it's aligned. Okay, so a couple of ways that we can do it, and that's 10. I can make that 9. I can make that 9. I can move that up. Like that. Black. Nine. Okay. Command 0. They sort of look like that, or they look like that. And I'm thinking that this owl needs to move up just a hair. There. A little freer to fly. Okay. And so I have two different looks here, and I could design the next piece based on either one of these. I can also take, I just want to observe, Command copy. So I'll save as is card or is save. Then file save as BizCardVert. Save. File. Document setup. Change it like that. Click OK. Then I can see so that's another way of doing the card. I can even move it away from the logo a little bit more and give my logo a little bit of space. I can also go down here, center that. Okay. What I need to do here is actually hit hard return, and then I can do that, do that. I'm going to take and turn these off like that. Nine and 11. I can take that line and add 9 points of space above it. It's like that. Okay. So we have some different cards. We have cards that way. And then we have file, open, recent. We have cards horizontal. I'm liking that one. And then over here, I kind of prefer this one. What I'm going to do, so next we're going to do letterhead. So I'm going to take this one. I'm going to decide that that's the one that I want to go with. And I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to go File, New Document. Go to Print. Go to Letter. Margins, 3p is fine because this is a much bigger. We don't want facing pages. We only want one column because this is for a letter and letters are one column. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give this some more space. Go to inches. I think I'm going to make this, break the lock, and I'm going to make the sides 1 inch and 1 inch. Click Create. That's funny. File, Layout, Margins and Columns. And I don't know what happened. Left 1 inch. Right 1 inch. Okay. Then I'm going to paste that whole unit right there. I'm going to bring this whole unit up here. What I'm going to do, so I could just leave this whole thing up there like that. What I'd be more likely to do would be to bring this out like that and out like that, and that makes sure that the type is absolutely centered on the page. Option 8, delete space, so that's all on one line. Preview. And that would be what my letterhead would look like. And then what I can do is I can actually normal. I could create a fake letter or write a real letter. I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to make it, probably 11 point. Probably doesn't need to be 10 point, but it definitely needs to not be 12 point. Okay. Type, fill with placeholder text. Capital letter. Okay, there's a letter. Gives an idea of what this would actually look like if a letter was typed on it. Preview. I'm thinking that I want to change this to Avenir as well. Back in the days when you only had typewriters, you were stuck with whatever font you had. But that's certainly not true anymore. T1. Roman. I'm thinking at that size, I think I need to reduce it. So I'm going to something like that. Something like that. Nice looking letter. Not too many hyphenations. Okay, so presentable looking letter. Not particularly complicated. Okay, and I'll save that. File, save as. DN, letterhead. Save. Okay, now for the hard part. We're going to go on to the website. So, copy that, because I'm going to use it again. We're going to create a new document. File, new document. This time, instead of going to print, we're going to go to web. What that's going to do is this is going to create a document that's in RGB color space rather than CMYK color space, and the default measurement is going to be in pixels. View all presets. I'm going to suggest working 1280 by 800. There's actually no reason for margins on this website, so I'm going to delete those. And there's no need for a bleed because we're not printing, we're going to go on the web. Okay, and we're horizontal, and I'm going to create, and the document looks like that. If I make it 100%, it's going to be really huge. I'm going to bring it down like that. Okay, and I'm only going to make one page, so I don't need the pages palette. So there are several parts to a website. The first part is generally is called the navigation. And I'm going to create a box to show me the navigation. In my case, I'm going to make it, fill it with black. Then, right, file, edit, paste. Not that. Back to the letterhead. Copy. Go to here, Command V. Okay. Take my logo. Keys. Okay, that's going to be my logo. Logos are generally at the top left. Command X. Command V. This area is generally called the header. I'm going to, I was working centered. Okay. However, in this case, it's really just going to look better if I'm on flush left. You have a tagline. Okay. So this is called the header. This is this will probably be the same on every single page. I'm going to go ahead and add one more color to this job. I want more color. Okay. Object, arrange, send to back, like that. Okay. You can decide if you want more information. In the header. But again, notice I'm keeping the same font. I'm hoping to keep the same color. I'm going to add a sidebar. I think that's maybe a little too yellow. Okay. File place. Yeah, what the heck? Open. Sorry it took me so long. Since I want to look into the site, I'm going to put that over there. File place. This is all being done real time, folks. Okay. Type. You want to make this, in this case, I want to make it 16. That is, in fact, the default size for type in web design. My challenge is that I've got this idea that I want to wrap the text around here. To wrap the text around it, I really need a lot more space. And I go to text wrap and I click here, and then I move the text out 1p. P9 looks better. Break the lock, usually on the bottom, it needs to be less. 0, like that. Again, I'm going to make this Avenir. If this was a website, you wouldn't necessarily be able to use Avenir. T1. Roman. Okay. And Object arrange, bring to front, make it a little shorter. I've got a little issue here where we've got the word do hanging down. Okay, like that. There's also something at the bottom of a website called a footer. I'm going to take and drag this down here. Take this type, make it white. Let's see. Color, white. Drag this bar down here. And what I can do, just drag this all the way across, like that. And I'm going to make it bigger because, again, the standard point size is 16 point. So maybe I can make this 14 point. And the things that go in the footer. So the thing that goes in the footer is things that immediately identify the site. The things that go in the footer are things that are less important. Which occurs to me that what's really missing up here is let me get rid of the quotes. Okay. Finally, we need to add some graphics. So, file, place. Let's see what I have. Actually, cancel that for a second. Okay, so now we're going to place some of our graphics. File, place. Open. So I've got that. And we're going to caption these. I'm going to make it a little bit different. 55 oblique. If I go to preview, I'll see that this is mostly white. It would be useful to have something, maybe a stroke around it, or something to just differentiate it from the background. One can also put a color in there. then file place. It's possible to place multiple images, so I'm going to select all three of those and click open. And I'm going to do this and that and that. And let's see, align them. Top line and group. And I have no idea if this is all going to fit. I'm going to have to go back and play with it when I'm done. Storyboard. Okay. Magazine spread, file place. If I zoom in, I'll see the crop marks, and in this case, I'm going to want to crop off my crop marks. I may not be able to do it exactly where I want to, but...
Is there something else I can help with?
No, Siri, you don't need to help. Okay. Again, I'm going to want to have a border around that or something. It's also possible to add a drop shadow. Let's see. Okay. So that's one way of handling it. And I could, in fact, add, I think I have enough space in here that I can actually go File, Place, go to my business card, horizontal, show import options, open. Okay. Stroke 0.5. I guess I could cheat it like that. And what would be smart would be to have a uniform distance between this type and the object it identifies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there is a web page. And one of the options, of course, is that there could be less type over on the right. Oh, right. One more thing. First of all, I'm going to change this to flush left. And I'm going to drag it in to match the margin that, in fact, we really are using, which is like that. And then at the top, we need to have some navigation. So home, about, design, illustration, photography, contact. And I typed it in black, but now I'm going to go to color and I'm going to make it white. And I'm going to go to Avenir. T1 Roman. So I have some navigation, links, which gives people an idea of what's on the site. And that's a basic, simple design website. And again, I can cut this copy down. And that would give me some more space for some other images if I want. But this essentially does the job. Command save. And where am I? Just a moment while I figure out where the heck I am in my computer. There's the logo folder, DN website. Save. Okay. So again, navigation, header. This is called the body of the document or the main or something similar to that. And then at the very bottom we have the footer.